Justice Department releases partial Epstein files, sparking outrage over redactions and missing documents. In a highly anticipated development late December 2025, the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, began publishing a massive collection of documents related to financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, fulfilling, at least in part, requirements of the newly passed Epstein Files Transparency Act. The material released includes photos, court records, investigative notes, and other evidence from decades of inquiries into Epstein's activities, his network of associates, and the failure of authorities to prevent his abuses. Rolling release under new transparency law. The Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed into law on November 19, 2025 by President Donald Trump after overwhelming bipartisan support in Congress, requires the Attorney General to make all unclassified records, communications, and investigative materials in the Justice Department's possession relating to Epstein publicly available in a searchable format within 30 days. On December 19 to 20, 2025, the DOJ began posting batches of documents on its website labeled the Epstein Library. According to the department, the releases are part of a rolling schedule to process and redact materials appropriately, particularly to protect the identities of survivors and other private individuals, even as it attempts to meet the Act's statutory deadline. Contents of the files and early revelations. The initial sets of documents are vast but uneven in substance. They include photographs and images from Epstein's residences, travels, and possessions, showing him with other individuals and various items of evidence. Some images have drawn public attention due to their disturbing nature. Investigative records such as handwritten FBI interview notes, including accounts suggesting Epstein actively sought underage victims in the months before his 2019 arrest. Historical complaints, including a 1996 FBI complaint from survivor Maria Farmer, alleging Epstein possessed and distributed explicit images of minors, claims that the Bureau never publicly acknowledged at the time. Grand jury transcripts and court records, though many pages remain heavily redacted or entirely blacked out. Despite the volume of material being released, critics note that much of it either comprises content already known to the public, such as previously disclosed images and files, or is so heavily redacted that its utility is limited. Controversy over redactions and missing documents. One of the most persistent criticisms from survivors' advocates, lawmakers, and journalists is the extent of redactions in the released files. Hundreds of pages have been blacked out entirely, and identifying details for victims, witnesses, or other individuals have been omitted. Critics argue that excessive redactions contradict the spirit of the Transparency Act and conceal crucial information. The controversy intensified when at least 16 files previously posted to the DOJ website disappeared within 24 hours, including a photo showing Donald Trump with Epstein, Melania Trump, and Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The Department of Justice attributed the removal to ongoing review and redaction processes, but the lack of clarity fueled public suspicion and bipartisan criticism. Political and legal backlash. The reaction in Washington was swift and sharp. Lawmakers from both parties, including the bipartisan team that sponsored the Transparency Act, have said the partial release fails to comply with the law's clear mandate to publish all unclassified files by the deadline. Some have even floated the possibility of impeachment proceedings or contempt charges against senior DOJ officials for noncompliance. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and others have publicly questioned the heavy redactions and omissions, portraying them as part of an apparent effort to shield certain individuals from scrutiny. Advocacy groups and survivors have voiced deep frustration, calling the disclosures a slap in the face and demanding a complete, unredacted release of the files. Looking ahead, continued releases and legal pressure. Officials at the DOJ say they will continue releasing additional materials over the coming weeks and months, with ongoing review and redaction efforts necessary to protect privacy and other sensitive areas. Whether this will satisfy critics or comply fully with the Transparency Act, which explicitly allows only limited redactions, is unclear. The Epstein Files release represents one of the most significant disclosures of government investigative material in recent U.S. history. Yet the controversy surrounding what is being withheld and why may prove as consequential as what has already been disclosed. As survivors and lawmakers alike call for deeper accountability, the justice system's handling of Epstein's legacy remains at the center of a broader debate over transparency, power, and public trust. Please like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out when I post latest news.